During a live broadcast, I was surprised because a Druze who spoke Spanish joined the live. For those who may not recall, the Druze are a people persecuted in some parts of Syria and Lebanon. And the Druze, that's why now they support Israel a lot, because Israel has defended the Druze throughout all that persecution they've suffered because of the jihadists. I'm going to show you the dialogue because you can see how many people around the world who are local ethnic groups from the Middle East are supporting Israel. Like in the case of the Druze, also many of the Kurds and so on. There are many peoples who support Israel against all this evil that is approaching, which is the radicalism of Islam. And I'm showing you the broadcast because it gives a lot of hope that we can achieve a peaceful Middle East and thus a peaceful world.
How are you, brother? My name is Omarzo, born in Venezuela, but my father and mother are Druze from Sueda.
Wow, amazing.
I am very grateful to you. We want to one day be part of Israel, for Israel to take Sueda and to be part of the Israel Defense Forces. We are very grateful. And the Israeli army, I know it's strong, but you already have some soldiers ready to enlist. And the Druze love Israel. We are grateful to Israel. Honestly, I'm really sorry for the person who was just talking to you. A person who was just colonized 400 years ago talking to a Jew about Israel. It's embarrassing. You've endured 500 years of colonization, and they mention Jesus, genocide, and more. The only people I've seen born in Venezuela and living through what we just experienced in Soweto with the Muslims, everything.
Allow me to pause so the audience can understand what we're talking about. I don't know if you remember that in Syria, the dictator fell a few months ago, about half a year ago, and power was taken. What is the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, now known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which has taken control of Syria? And what they've been doing these past few months is systematically massacring the Druze people. Who are the Druze? They are an ancient people from the Levant region. In Lebanon, some are in northern Israel and southern Syria, with others further north in Syria. However, there is a city that was heavily impacted by Syrian persecution. The jihadists, to be exact, because one could say Druze are Syrians, but the Muslim jihadists against the Druze did things like barbarism, like October 7th, but to the Druze, like October 7th. I'm referring to the attacks that Hamas carried out against Israel. But the Druze version, like they took, the images were like those from the Holocaust, like the Druze who follow the religion. They have mustaches, and as shown in the images, shaving them off is used to humiliate them. I won't share more explicit details. But you realize that by using extreme violence and forcing them to crawl and bark like dogs, things like humiliations, massacres, and kidnapping women, I mean, Hamas has copied and pasted what is happening in Syria. Let me ask you, do you see any difference between the jihadism of ISIS and all these groups like Julani and all of them with Hamas? Is there any difference or...
No, that's why it's a shame. Like I say, these people who were just colonized 500 years ago, when they talk about Israel, they talk about Islam, they talk about poor Muslims, poor people from... And no, I mean, it's something that there are no words for. When I hear them, I get frustrated, like you said. For an hour, I was on edge, like that. This man doesn't know what he's talking about. Why don't they just cut him off already? Why don't they take him out? I don't know why you stayed with him for so long, but it's good. It's good so people can see the ignorance there is about what Israel is, what the Middle East is, what it is. He doesn't know, that man, he doesn't know that the people he defends in the Middle East, he, from what I see, is not a Muslim. For what they call a Muslim, he would be a kuffar. And the kuffar, for them, we are Russians. We who speak the language, we speak Arabic, we are Syrians, we are of the same nationality. Like, I don't know if you saw when Yolani, this guy, the terrorist who's currently in Syria, the government that one of his terrorists in Sueda has a Russian kneeling down. A man, and he says to him in Tashu, and then he says, Ana Suri. He asks him, well, what are you? He says, no, I am Syrian. The other replies, no, you're not. Are you Druze or? I'm not Druze. Boom, he killed him. So, These people don't realize that the people they defend so much in a jihadist system would become victims of the very same people they defend. They're going to cut your head off because you're not Muslim. Even among Muslims, between Shia and Sunni, they don't like each other, they kill each other. What are you waiting for? From being a Christian, a Catholic,
an atheist,
to defend these people who it's very easy to defend them from afar. But if you were there, if you knew how to speak the language, if you understood how those people talk, you wouldn't defend any of that anymore.
100%. It's like the phenomenon with feminists. Have you seen feminists for Palestine? And you say, oh, gays for Gaza. And you say, ma'am, if you went into Gaza, you'd have to cover yourself from head to toe. They would repress her. Their law even allows beating women, gays for Gaza. The first thing they would do in Gaza, if they put her in, is take her up to a rooftop and throw her off. It's just absurd. And these people get to that point out of ignorance? Tell me something. Do you think it was discussed like the way I explained it to the audience? Basically, the jihadists committed genocide, a systematic massacre of Druze people in southern Syria. Do you think it got enough attention?
The word genocide is what you say, what they didn't do to us, what they did to the...
Exactly.
That's the word genocide, the extermination of a race, of a people, just because of their race, because of their...
Exactly, and with intent.
That's genocide.
100%.
You say, my mom, my whole family says it? Okay. What you see in Palestine, the children, yes, it's terrible, poor kids. But my people come first. My people come first. If you're coming to kill my people, I'm going to defend my people. They went into Hisaweda. We didn't go to bother anyone in Shem or in Yaramena or in Dara. We didn't go to bother anyone. They came to our house to kill us, to bother us. The same thing happened on October 7th in Israel. Israelis were calm and they went to the house to bother them. What do you think will happen? Do you think they'll just sit back and do nothing? No, they'll defend their people and country. But these illiterate people, I don't understand their way of thinking, I just don't know. It frustrates me.
Me neither. It's just absurd. Those people have to...
I don't understand.
But what I wanted to ask you, Omar, was do you think he was given? It's just that you see the media, you turn on the television. I don't have a television, but Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. Was the Druze issue discussed enough, or is it still being discussed?
No. No, it's not talked about much. And I wouldn't be surprised, like all the Al Jazeera channels and all those people. Israel bombed Damascus early on, aiming to remove both the government and the city itself. And I stayed, but if these people are killing us, Druze, Israel is defending us. Israel is defending us. What do you mean Israel bombed Damascus? Why did Israel bomb Damascus? What right do they have? Look, thanks to Israel, we still exist. Because if it hadn't been for Israel in Sueda, what happened to you with Hitler would have happened to us. And we are?
100%.
You are grateful for that.
Let me give the audience more context. For the audience, I don't know if you remember, I have to clarify this. The thing is, everyone is clear about the Gaza issue because it's everywhere. But the issue of the Druze makes me uncomfortable, the Druze issue. The issue of the Kurds, nobody talks about the Kurds. They're also being killed by the Turks, but the Druze. What happened is that literally just because, well, yes, it was just because. They created an artificial intelligence video of a Druze leader allegedly insulting Muhammad. And that was the excuse the jihadists found to go after the Druze. They already wanted to get rid of them. They were just looking for an excuse, and that was it. And they started going in jeeps, in armored vehicles, traveling in convoys. That way they could go to the Druze villages to wipe out the Druze. The Druze, luckily, are not like the Christians. Like the naive Alawites, who surrendered their weapons after Assad's dictatorship ended. Also, the Christians have never been violent in Syria, but the Druze have never been stupid, and that's why the Druze kept their weapons. What happened is that when the jihadists started coming to wipe out the Druze went out to fight. They started defending themselves against the jihadists. And then Israel also bombed to prevent the jihadists from reaching these areas as well, where the Druze have the largest population in the south of Syria. This repelled the attacks, But the fighting is still going on, still in real time. It's just that you watch the media and you won't see it there, but it's still happening. I mean, it's just because it bothers me. Buzz, Gaza is a popular topic because Israel is seen as the Jew, the villain, while Gazans are viewed as the oppressed versus the oppressor. But when it comes to Druze and jihadists, why isn't there as much noise? I mean, that's where I see how you can see the great hypocrisy of the media and all these people, as you pointed out. That really bothers me.
Javi, thank you. I'm a follower of yours. I like what you say. I like it. Thank you, thank you. The ability you have about regardless of the fact that I'm not Jewish, I love Israel and have many Jewish friends. I live in San Francisco, California, but I was born in Venezuela. Oh, they're all people. The mentality of the Druze in general, because the Druze from Israel, from the Golan Heights, and the Druze from Syria had the same mindset. They were different in their mentalities. Some supported Israel and others supported those who spoke Arabic on the Arab side. Now, all of that has changed. In general, with all the Druze, even the Druze from Lebanon, because I went to Lebanon and I was in Alair, and in Alair they're all Druze, even the Druze from Lebanon and everything. I have the flag of Israel on the back of my car. Here in California, there are a lot of liberals. People flip me off, flash their lights at me on the freeway, and I just stay calm because... No, I don't expect much from the
Let them cry then.
ignorant people. So now, with everything that's happening, all the Druze from Venezuela, the Druze community in Venezuela is very large. All the Druze from Venezuela, everyone, even now they say it, my mom and everyone. If there wasn't Israel, who would treat us well and protect us? If it hadn't been for Israel, if Israel hadn't existed, they would have wiped us all out. Now, we all love Israel. We want Sweda to join the Golan, to be part of Israel. And for all the Bedouins to be removed from Eid al-Dara so we can take that area too. And for everything to be part of Israel. No, we don't want to be Syrians anymore. We don't want Syrian passports. We speak the language because of history.
I have a very interesting proposal. In fact, I've talked about this on my page for years. And the big mistake that Europeans made in the Middle East was drawing lines and creating fictitious countries. One of those made up countries was named Syria by the French. But inside Syria, there are different peoples, ethnicities, and for example, the Kurds should, if they had their own country. Let's say the Christians had an island because Christianity in the Levant is very ancient. And the Druze had their own country, even without being part of Israel. That is, if they had their independence. If you understand me, imagine a Druze country. For me, that would be the future utopia of the Middle East, that each ethnicity, each people, each tribe has its own space. And that way, I think it would greatly reduce friction. But of course, it's difficult when you have an expansionist religion like Islam. Islam seeks a global caliphate and dominance, unlike Jews and Druze, who do not share this goal. The Druze, in fact, for the public's information, you can't convert to being Druze. That is, a person is born Druze. That is, you don't have this colonialist ambition, which Islam does have. So that's why I think...
For us, there's no conversion or being born. You die and reincarnate. Conversion doesn't apply to us.
Exactly, wow. Well, I was glad to talk with a Druze in Spanish because in Hebrew, obviously. Many Druze serve in the Israeli army. In society, you attend universities and study with Druze. Are they an integral part of Israel? But I never spoke with a Druze in Spanish, and I was glad to have one present. Thanks for participating.
The first person who was talking to you alone, as you already told him that Palestine, even though Palestine has never existed, and that name belonged to the people who always lived there, even the Jews, everyone, they were Palestinians, those who were in those lands. Egypt, which was in charge of that when the British were there. Egypt was never interested in giving them a country or anything like that, not even the Arabs themselves. Why don't the Arabs get involved in Saudi Arabia? Why don't the others intervene if they're Sunnis like them? Why don't the Sunni Arab countries get involved to help them? And those Palestinians, they aren't real. They don't exist. And second, those people, all those people were the Bedouins from the Bedouis who came from Jordan. All those so-called Palestinians, Gazans, all those people are from Jordan? From that area?
In Jordan, you see the last names in Egypt. In Gaza, the last names are Al-Masri. What is Al-Masri? Egyptian, that is the nationality. The Jews, the Ottomans, to mock the Jews, used to say, the Palestinians, because that's how they humiliated us, in quotes. But that's how it is. And because they were Arabs, they weren't Palestinians, they were Turks, Ottomans, Jews, Druze. But well, may we see days of peace with the help of Hashem. May we see those days. Well, I send you my regards.
Shalom, may you be well.
Shalom with joy. Wow, I mean, I told you, talking to Druze people in Israel, they are people I admire a lot. I mean, you join the army, you are like honestly the best in the army. In Spanish, I had never in my life spoken with a Druze person. I'm very, I don't know. So I'm amazed to even meet Druze people who speak Spanish.